What if I told you that the first tank in history wasn't invented in the 20th century, but over 400 years earlier? A machine covered in armor, armed with cannons on all sides, powered by a complex system of gears and human operators. A machine so advanced that it looked like something from a steampunk fantasy. And it was designed by a man most people know only as an artist. A man famous for painting the Mona Lisa. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. Today, we're uncovering the story behind one of history's most fascinating inventions, Leonardo da Vinci's secret armored war machine. A design centuries ahead of its time. A machine that may have changed warfare forever, if it had ever been built. Leonardo da Vinci was born in 1452 in the small Italian town of Vinci. Most people remember him as an artist, the creator of masterpieces like Mona Lisa, The Last Supper, but Leonardo was much more than an artist. He was an engineer, a scientist, an inventor, an anatomist, a military strategist. His notebooks contained thousands of pages filled with ideas, flying machines, robots, parachutes, submarines, and deadly weapons. Many of these concepts wouldn't become reality for centuries. Leonardo lived during the Renaissance, a period when Italian city-states were constantly at war. Powerful rulers wanted new weapons, and Leonardo knew exactly how to get their attention. Around 1482, Leonardo wrote a famous letter to a powerful ruler, Ludovico Sforza. Surprisingly, he barely mentioned painting. Instead, he described himself as a military engineer. He promised to build stronger bridges, better cannons, siege weapons, armored vehicles. Essentially, Leonardo was applying for a job, and he knew warfare was where the money was. The Duke was impressed. Leonardo was hired, and soon, his imagination began producing some of the most extraordinary military concepts ever drawn. Among them was a machine unlike anything the world had ever seen. The armored fighting vehicle. At first glance, Leonardo's design looks like a giant turtle shell. The vehicle was circular. Its exterior consisted of sloped armored plates. These angled walls would help deflect enemy attacks. This principle is still used in modern tanks today. Around the perimeter sat numerous cannons. No matter where enemies approached from, the vehicle could fire in every direction. Inside the armored shell were several operators. Instead of an engine, men would turn cranks connected to an intricate gear system. Those gears would rotate the wheels beneath the machine. Imagine a massive armored fortress rolling across a battlefield. That was Leonardo's vision, a mobile weapon capable of breaking enemy formations and creating chaos. In the late 1400s, this idea was revolutionary. Nothing remotely similar existed anywhere in the world. But there was a problem. A very strange problem. When modern engineers studied Leonardo's design centuries later, they noticed something unusual. The gear system didn't work properly. The wheels would move in opposite directions. Instead of moving forward, the machine would become stuck. At first, historians thought Leonardo had made a mistake. But many experts disagree. After all, this was Leonardo da Vinci, a man who understood mechanics better than almost anyone of his era. So why would he make such a basic error? One theory is fascinating. Leonardo intentionally inserted a flaw into the design, a hidden mechanical trap. If someone stole his plans, the machine wouldn't function. Only Leonardo would know how to correct the error. If true, it would be one of history's earliest examples of intellectual property protection. A secret hidden inside a war machine. And it remains one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the invention. In recent decades, engineers have built working models of Leonardo's tank. The results were surprising. After correcting the gear issue, the machine could move. But several challenges remained. The vehicle was extremely heavy. Its wooden frame and armor would weigh thousands of kilograms. Human operators would need tremendous strength to move it. The speed would be very slow. Turning would be difficult, and rough terrain could easily stop it. In a real battlefield, the machine may not have performed as Leonardo imagined. However, that's not the point. The remarkable fact is that Leonardo conceived the idea at all. Centuries before engines. Centuries before modern metallurgy. Centuries before tanks became reality. He imagined armored warfare, and that's what makes the design extraordinary. Leonardo didn't stop with the tank. His notebooks reveal many other military inventions. One was a giant crossbow, massive enough to terrify enemy armies. Another was the famous 33-barrel organ gun, an early attempt at rapid-fire artillery. He designed armored ships, siege ladders, fortifications, defensive systems, and even concepts resembling machine guns. Most were never built, but they demonstrate the incredible range of Leonardo's imagination. He constantly sought new ways to combine science and warfare. In 1916, during the First World War, the first true tanks appeared on battlefields. Machines like the British tanks crossed trenches and changed warfare forever. Looking at him today, it's impossible not to notice similarities. Armor, mobility, firepower, the same core principles Leonardo envisioned over 4 centuries earlier. Of course, modern tanks relied on engines, steel, and industrial technology. But the concept had already existed. In the mind of Leonardo da Vinci, his tank was not merely a weapon. It was a glimpse into the future. Leonardo da Vinci never saw his armored fighting vehicle built. His war machine remained trapped within the pages of his notebooks. Yet its legacy survives, not because it conquered battlefields, but because it demonstrated the limitless power of imagination. A Renaissance artist imagined a machine that wouldn't truly exist for another 400 years. And in doing so, he proved something remarkable. The future often begins as a sketch, a thought, an idea, and sometimes, those ideas are centuries ahead of their time. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more untold stories from history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.